Welcome to AZPM News Daily, a wrap-up of all the day's news from Arizona Public Media. I'm Steve Jess, and on this edition, no Tucson bus strike, for now at least.
The company will present its offer around July 11th for members to accept or reject.
Details behind the sudden departure of the Pima County treasurer, and a few words about an absent friend. That's ahead on this Wednesday, July 1st. Starting us off today, Suntran bus union members failed to negotiate a safety plan with the company and will not be going on strike as they had planned. Noor Hagigi has more on that story.
Riders can expect usual bus activity for the time being, as Suntran employees say they have yet to agree on a safety deal with management. That's according to a union announcement made Wednesday morning after its contract expired. The memo says the company will present its offer around July 11th for members to accept or reject. Suntran services have been free since the pandemic. In recent years, safety concerns have risen amongst drivers and community members following several stabbings and threatening instances. Since the RTA Next plan was approved by voters in March, the city has been rolling out its transit safety plan with Suntran and Tucson police.
The Tucson Sentinel reports several Pima County employees have accused former Treasurer Brian Johnson of sexual misconduct before his resignation in mid-June. Noor Hagigi returns with this report.
Jake Martin is the chief deputy treasurer who worked closely with Johnson before he resigned. Martin tells AZPM the primary complainant told him in January that the treasurer had invited her out on dates and that he had made inappropriate comments to her.
My top priority was to respect the wishes of the victim in this case and to ensure that we were able to meet her needs and do everything that we could to support her, whether that was changing a schedule so she wasn't in the room with Brian or making sure that she was never alone with him.
Johnson and his girlfriend allegedly had a relationship with a female employee and sent employees links to explicit materials, including self-published books. It was also reported that he touched himself inappropriately while talking to others and decorated his office with nude paintings. Johnson did not deny the allegations in an interview with the Sentinel, but says some of the encounters were consensual. Martin says he encouraged Johnson's resignation and is running to replace him through 2028. Noor Hagigi, AZPM News.
A lawsuit against a planned immigration detention center in Surprise has reached a temporary standstill. Angela Gervasi tells us more.
Attorney General Chris Mays sued the Department of Homeland Security in April over the proposed facility. She accused DHS of failing to follow federal environmental guidelines in its plans to convert a warehouse into an ICE facility in the city of Surprise. But according to court documents filed this week, Mays and DHS have reached an agreement. DHS now says it will perform an environmental assessment of the facility. In the meantime, the lawsuit is effectively paused, and the detention facility cannot begin operating until the assessment is completed. In a statement Wednesday, Mays celebrated the agreement as a major win. She also pointed out that once DHS completes the environmental assessment, her office can challenge the adequacy of that report. Angela Gervasi, AZPM News.
Pima County opened its second cooltainer this week. A cooltainer is a repurposed shipping container equipped with air conditioning and furniture. The new addition is near Drexel Road and Alvernon Way, an area with a high number of recent heat-related illnesses. County Health Department staff will offer heat relief supplies and education materials on site. The cooltainer is open from 3 to 7 p.m. Monday through Friday and 1 to 7 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. With this addition, Pima County residents can find heat relief at a total of 48 cooling centers. The United States says it will not automatically renew the USMCA trade pact on the deadline for its first mandated review, pushing the agreement into a period of potentially lengthy negotiations. Nina Kravinsky has that story.
The U.S. Trade Representative Jameson Greer said in a statement that the United States would not renew the trade deal that the Trump administration negotiated to replace NAFTA during the president's first term. The trilateral agreement won't immediately expire. Instead, it now moves into a period of regular reviews. The United States and Mexico are set to meet for a third official round of bilateral talks later this month. Billions of dollars worth of trade happens across the Arizona-Mexico border each year. Many of those goods, including tons of fresh produce and manufactured goods, cross that border tariff-free under USMCA.
That report was by Nina Kravinsky. Finding a place to park on Mount Lemmon just got a little easier. Visitors now have access to a new parking lot with 75 spaces and additional parking alongside Sabino Canyon Road. Pima County also announced road improvements made to the area, including roadway restoration and repainted lane lines, crosswalk, and stop lines from the base of the mountain to Summerhaven and Ski Valley. County transportation officials say the upgrades will help reduce traffic congestion while also improving safety for visitors. One of southern Arizona's oldest cultivated sites has earned national recognition after being added to the National Register of Historic Places. Thatcher Warwick-Hess has more on that.
At the base of Sentinel Peak in Tucson, Mission Garden is a living agricultural museum that can be traced back with more than 4,000 years of history. Its listing on the National Register of Historic Places is part of a larger historic preservation effort. Mission Garden partnered with Friends of Tucson's Birthplace, a local nonprofit, on landscape and infrastructure improvement ahead of its designation. That work was supported by a $500,000 grant that was awarded by Pima County in 2023 from the National Park Service. In April, Pima County submitted its nomination to be recognized as a historic place and was awarded recognition in June. I'm Thatcher Warwick-Hess, AZPM News.
We close tonight with a story from our past about the 5th annual Tucson Haiku Hike literary competition. Our reporter Duncan Moon filed this story in February 2024.
The entries will be judged by Tucson's poet laureate, T.C. Tolbert, who will select 20 winners. The winning poems will be featured in downtown Tucson on planters along Congress Street and Stone Ave, and winners will be recognized on public signage, online, and in the media. The competition is a joint project of the Downtown Tucson Partnership and the University of Arizona Poetry Center. Interested poets can submit their work at downtowntucson.org. So, to kick things off, are you a poet? Your chance to discover now. Don't wait till too late. Submissions are welcome through February 29th. I'm Duncan Moon, AZPM News.
Duncan Moon came to work at AZPM in 2018. I was on the committee that chose him out of a pool of applicants, and I think we were all astonished that a man with such a deep well of experience would come to work at our little station. Duncan and I were about the same age, which is none of your darn business, by the way. Let's just say we're both baby boomers and leave it at that. But his reporting career took him around the world. As a staff correspondent for Monitor Radio based in London, he covered the fall of the Berlin Wall and German reunification. As a staff reporter and religion correspondent for NPR, he covered the Roman Catholic sexual abuse scandal and the final years of Pope John Paul II. Duncan also spent 7 years in Alaska with the Alaska Public Radio Network. Duncan retired from AZPM a little over 2 years ago to deal with some health issues. Today, his daughter Abby announced his passing on social media, saying, and I quote, "He left this world the same way he lived in it, with dignity and bravery. He was so kind and so generous, the kind of man who gave freely, showed up for people, and made you feel like you mattered." Fair winds and following seas, my friend. That's our podcast for this Wednesday. We will close with a moment of silence, and we'll be back tomorrow.